Marcus Aurelius. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. In a world that constantly pulls you in 1,000 directions before you've even opened your eyes, imagine possessing the power to own your mornings completely. To start each day with such intention, such clarity, such unshakable calm that nothing can throw you off course. That's not just discipline, it's freedom. It's about taking control, not of the chaos around you, but of something far more powerful, the first hours of your day. Stoicism teaches us that how we begin determines how we continue. But this isn't just ancient philosophy. It's about you, your life, today. It's about transforming those groggy, frustrating mornings where you're already behind before you've started into a powerful launchpad for days filled with purpose, energy, and genuine peace. It's about building a morning routine so solid, so aligned with who you want to become, that motivation becomes irrelevant because the habits carry you forward. So if you've ever felt like your mornings control you instead of the other way around, if you've ever wondered how some people seem to start their days with such ease and focus, or if you're curious about how the most powerful emperor in history began his mornings, stick around. This might just be the video that changes everything for you. Let's dive into the 10 Stoic strategies that can transform not just your mornings, but the entire trajectory of your life. I implore you to give your full attention to this video from start to finish. If you've made it here, you're not like everyone else. You're a standout, someone who seeks depth and wisdom. Your dedication to absorbing this content in full sets you apart even further. The first thing you should do every morning is rise before the world wakes up. And this might sound simple, but it's profoundly transformative. There's something almost magical about the early morning hours. Before the emails start flooding in, before the notifications begin their assault, before the demands of others can reach you, it's quiet, it's still, it's yours. Marcus Aurelius would rise before dawn, not because he had to. As emperor, he could have slept as late as he wanted, but because he understood something crucial, the morning hours are sacred. They're the hours where your mind is fresh, your willpower is strongest, and the world hasn't yet begun to impose its agenda on you. Here's the thing about waking up early. It's not about punishment or deprivation. It's about claiming time that belongs entirely to you. Think about it. How often during your regular day do you have an hour that's completely uninterrupted? No messages, no meetings, no obligations, probably never. But the early morning offers exactly that, a pocket of time where you can invest in yourself before investing in everything else. Seneca wrote extensively about the value of time, how it's our most precious resource and how most people squander it without realizing. When you rise early, you're not losing sleep, you're gaining life. You're gaining hours that most people will never experience, hours of peace, productivity, and personal growth. So, how do we make this work practically? Start by shifting your wake time gradually. 15 minutes earlier each week until you reach your target. Don't try to jump from waking at 8 to waking at 5 overnight. That's a recipe for failure and frustration. Instead, let your body adjust naturally. And here's the crucial part. Use those early morning hours for something meaningful, something that excites you, something that makes getting out of bed feel like an opportunity, not a chore. The early morning is when you become who you want to be, while the rest of the world is still dreaming. The second thing you should do every morning is resist the phone for the first hour. And I cannot stress how important this is. That device sitting on your nightstand isn't just a phone, it's a portal to everyone else's priorities, everyone else's emergencies, everyone else's opinions. The moment you pick it up, you're no longer living your morning. You're reacting to the world's demands. And this is the exact opposite of what the Stoics taught. Marcus Aurelius didn't have a smartphone, obviously, but he had endless demands on his attention as emperor of Rome. Everyone wanted something from him, and he wrote about the importance of protecting his mind in those early hours, of not letting external forces disturb his inner peace before he'd had a chance to fortify it. Here's what happens when you check your phone first thing. Your brain immediately shifts into reactive mode. You see an email and suddenly you're thinking about work. You see a news headline and suddenly you're anxious. You see a social media post and suddenly you're comparing yourself to others. You've handed over control of your mental state to algorithms and strangers before you've even had a chance to set your own intentions for the day. The Stoics understood that what we focus on expands. If you focus on other people's drama first thing in the morning, that drama will color your entire day. But if you focus on your own growth, your own peace, your own intentions, that's what expands instead. So here's the practice. Keep your phone in another room while you sleep. If you use it as an alarm, buy a real alarm clock. When you wake up, don't touch it for at least 60 minutes. Use that hour for the practices we're discussing here, for building yourself up before you allow the world in. This single habit might be the most powerful thing you do. Your morning belongs to you. Protect it fiercely. The third thing you should do every morning is move your body. And I'm not talking about an intense 2-hour gym session. I'm talking about waking up your physical self. The Stoics believed deeply in the connection between body and mind. They weren't just philosophers sitting around thinking. They understood that physical discipline supports mental discipline, that a strong body creates a foundation for a strong mind. Marcus Aurelius practiced physical training. Seneca took cold baths and walks. Epictetus, despite his physical limitations, emphasized the importance of caring for the body. Here's what most people don't realize. When you wake up, your body has been still for 7 or 8 hours. Your blood is flowing sluggishly. Your muscles are tight. Your energy is dormant. When you move first thing, you're not just exercising. You're sending a signal to your entire system that the day has begun, that it's time to be alert, awake, and alive. This doesn't have to be complicated. It could be a 20-minute walk in the fresh air. It could be some simple stretching or yoga. It could be push-ups and squats in your bedroom. The key isn't intensity, it's consistency. It's making movement a non-negotiable part of how you start every single day. Moreover, there's something deeply stoic about choosing discomfort first thing in the morning. When your body wants to stay comfortable, when the couch is calling and the workout feels hard, choosing to move anyway is an act of self-mastery. It's proof to yourself that you can do hard things, that comfort doesn't control you, that you're capable of discipline. And here's the beautiful thing. Once you've done something challenging first thing in the morning, everything else feels easier by comparison. You've already won a battle before most people have opened their eyes, and that victory carries you forward, creates momentum, builds the identity of someone who follows through. So tomorrow morning, before you do anything else, move. Make it 10 minutes if that's all you have, but make it happen. Your body and mind will thank you. The fourth thing you should do every morning is practice stillness. Whether you call it meditation, contemplation, or simply sitting quietly, this is essential. We live in a world of constant noise, constant stimulation, constant motion. And our minds have adapted to this chaos, always jumping from thought to thought, never settling, never finding peace. The Stoics understood that this mental restlessness is the enemy of wisdom, that true clarity comes only from stillness. Marcus Aurelius practiced what we might today call meditation, though he wouldn't have used that word. He would retreat into himself, examining his thoughts, testing them against reason, cultivating the inner calm that allowed him to face the enormous pressures of ruling an empire. This wasn't weakness, it was his greatest strength. Here's why stillness matters so much, especially in the morning. Your mind upon waking is like a snow globe that's been shaken. Thoughts are swirling, emotions are unsettled. The day's anxieties are already beginning to form. If you rush immediately into activity, you carry that turbulence with you all day. But if you take even 10 minutes to sit, to breathe, to let the snow settle, you create a foundation of calm that supports everything else. The practice is simple. find a quiet place, sit comfortably. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. When thoughts arise, and they will, don't fight them. Just notice them and return to the breath. You're not trying to empty your mind. You're training it to be less reactive, less chaotic, less controlled by every passing thought. Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most of our anxiety comes not from actual problems, but from our thoughts about potential problems. Meditation breaks this cycle. It teaches us to observe our thoughts rather than be controlled by them, to create space between stimulus and response. Start with just 5 minutes tomorrow morning. That's all. 5 minutes of stillness before the world demands your attention. And watch how it transforms not just your morning, but your capacity to handle whatever the day brings with equanimity and grace. The fifth thing you should do every morning is journal your thoughts. And this practice has perhaps the deepest roots in Stoic tradition. Marcus Aurelius never intended for his meditations to be published. They were his private journal. His morning practice of examining his thoughts, preparing for the day, processing his struggles. This is how one of history's most powerful leaders began his mornings, not with meetings or proclamations, but with a pen and his own thoughts. Here's why journaling is so powerful. Your mind is full of thoughts, beliefs, fears, and hopes, but most of them remain vague, undefined, operating in the background, influencing your behavior without your awareness. When you write them down, you make them concrete. You can examine them, question them, decide whether they serve you. The morning is ideal for this because your mind hasn't yet been cluttered by the day's events. You have access to deeper thoughts and feelings that get buried once you're in the thick of things. Many people find that their best insights, their clearest thinking, happens in these quiet morning pages. So, what should you write? There's no single right answer. Some people write about what they're grateful for, starting the day by focusing on abundance rather than lack. Some write about their intentions for the day, clarifying their priorities before distractions arise. Some write about their fears and worries, getting them out of their head and onto paper where they lose much of their power. The Stoics specifically practiced what's called premeditatio malorum, imagining what could go wrong and how they would handle it. This isn't pessimism, it's preparation. By writing about potential challenges before they occur, you're mentally rehearsing your responses. So when difficulties arise, you're ready. Start tomorrow with a blank page and just write for 10 minutes. Don't worry about grammar or making sense. Just let your thoughts flow onto the paper. You might be surprised what emerges when you give your mind this outlet. This practice of speaking to yourself on paper is one of the oldest and most powerful tools for building mental strength and self-awareness. The sixth thing you should do every morning is read something meaningful. And I want to emphasize that word, meaningful. The Stoics were voracious readers and learners. Seneca's letters are filled with references to books he was reading, philosophers he was studying, ideas he was wrestling with. They understood that wisdom doesn't come from within alone. It comes from engaging with the greatest minds who ever lived, from standing on the shoulders of giants. Here's the thing, most people do read in the morning, but they read the news, read social media, read emails. And what does this content do? It makes you anxious, angry, distracted. It fills your mind with information you can't act on, problems you can't solve, drama that has nothing to do with your actual life. But what if instead you spent those same 15 minutes reading something that actually made you better? A page of Marcus Aurelius, a chapter of Seneca, a few verses of Epictetus, or any book that challenges you, inspires you, helps you grow. Imagine starting every day by filling your mind with wisdom rather than noise. This is a choice you make every morning. What will you feed your mind before you go out into the world? Will it be the outrage machine of modern media? Or will it be ideas that have stood the test of thousands of years? Ideas about how to live well, how to face adversity, how to find meaning and peace. Keep a meaningful book by your bed. Make it the first thing you reach for. Not your phone, not the news, the book. Let the first thoughts you encounter each day be thoughts worth having, Let the first voice you hear be a wise one, and watch how this simple practice elevates your entire day. The seventh thing you should do every morning is eat with intention, and this goes far deeper than just nutrition. The Stoics practice simplicity in all things, including food. Seneca would periodically eat only the plainest meals, not because he couldn't afford better, but to prove to himself that he didn't need luxury to be content, that his happiness wasn't dependent on external pleasures. This wasn't deprivation, it was freedom. Here's what most people do in the morning. They either skip breakfast entirely, running on empty, or they grab whatever's convenient. Processed food eaten standing up, scrolling through their phone, not even tasting it. This sets a tone for the day. A tone of rushing, of unconsciousness, of treating your body like an afterthought. But what if breakfast became a practice in presence? What if you ate something nourishing, sat down, and actually tasted it, chewed slowly, appreciated the fact that you have food when so many don't? This transforms a mundane act into a meditation, into an expression of gratitude, into proof that you're living intentionally, not reactively. The Stoics would tell us that how we do one thing is how we do everything. If you eat mindlessly, you'll likely live mindlessly. But if you bring attention to something as simple as your morning meal, you're training yourself to bring attention to everything, to be present, to be conscious, to be the author of your life rather than a passenger. So tomorrow morning, whatever you eat, do it with intention. Sit down, turn off distractions, taste your food, feel gratitude for it. This small act of consciousness ripples outward, affecting how you approach everything else in your day. The eighth thing you should do every morning is review your principles, your core values, the person you're committed to being. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself each morning of the kind of people he might encounter, the difficult, ungrateful, hostile people he would face. And he would remind himself not to become like them, not to let their behavior dictate his. This wasn't pessimism, it was preparation. It was anchoring himself in his values before circumstances could pull him away from them. Here's the reality of life. You will be tested today. Something will happen that tempts you to compromise your integrity, to react in anger, to take the easy path instead of the right one. And in that moment, if you haven't prepared, you'll likely fail. Not because you're weak, but because the pressure of the moment is powerful. But if you spend time in the morning reminding yourself who you want to be, what you stand for, how you want to respond when tested, you've armed yourself. You've created a mental framework that will guide you when things get hard. So take a few minutes each morning to review your principles. What do you value most? What kind of person are you committed to being today? How will you respond when someone frustrates you? When something goes wrong? When temptation appears? Write these down if it helps. Speak them out loud. Let them sink in before you face the day. This practice is like putting on armor, not armor that keeps the world out, but armor that keeps you centered in who you are, no matter what the world throws at you. The ninth thing you should do every morning is set clear intentions for the day ahead. And this is different from making a to-do list. A to-do list is about tasks, things to accomplish, boxes to check. Intentions are about how you want to be, what quality of presence you want to bring to the day, what matters most beyond just productivity. Epictetus taught that some things are within our control and some things are not. Outcomes are often outside our control. But our effort, our attention, our attitude, these are ours to direct. Morning intentions focus us on what we can actually influence, rather than leaving us anxious about results we can't guarantee. Here's a powerful question to ask yourself each morning. What would make today a success? Not in terms of external achievements, but in terms of how you showed up. Maybe it's being fully present with your family. Maybe it's approaching a difficult conversation with compassion. Maybe it's staying calm no matter what arises. These intentions shape your day far more than any task list. Take 5 minutes each morning to write down or simply contemplate your intentions. What will you focus your energy on today? How do you want to feel when your head hits the pillow tonight? What will you not allow to derail you? These questions focus your mind and increase dramatically the chances that you'll actually follow through. The day will throw chaos at you, that's guaranteed. But if you set your intentions clearly, you have a compass, you have direction, you have purpose. And that makes all the difference between a day that happens to you and a day you consciously create. The 10th and final thing you should do every morning is embrace the privilege of being alive. And this is the foundation that makes everything else matter. Every Stoic teacher emphasized this point. You are not guaranteed tomorrow. You are not owed today. Every morning you wake up is a gift. An opportunity that millions of people who died last night will never have. This isn't meant to be morbid. It's meant to wake you up, to shake you out of the sleepwalk that so many people call life. Marcus Aurelius wrote about this constantly, reminding himself that his time was limited, that each day was precious, that every morning was a chance to live with virtue and purpose. Not someday, but today, right now, this moment. Here's what happens when you truly internalize this. The petty annoyances lose their power. The small frustrations that usually derail your day seem ridiculous when held against the reality that you're alive, that you get to experience this day, that you have the opportunity to create, to connect, to grow. So tomorrow morning, before you do anything else, take a breath and feel grateful. Feel the miracle of your own consciousness, the improbability that you exist at all. Among all the billions of years and trillions of possible people, you're here. Now, reading this, with the ability to change your life, starting with how you approach the next 24 hours. This isn't just positive thinking, it's the deepest wisdom the Stoics offer. Your life is brief, uncertain, precious. Treat your mornings like the gift they are and watch how everything transforms. So there they are, the 10 things you should do every morning according to Stoic wisdom. Rise before the world and claim that sacred quiet time. Resist the phone and protect your attention from the world's chaos. Move your body and wake up your physical self. Practice stillness and settle your mind. Journal your thoughts and know yourself more deeply. Read something meaningful and feed your mind with wisdom. Eat with intention and practice presence in the simplest acts. Review your principles and arm yourself for the day's tests. Set clear intentions and direct your energy toward what matters. And embrace the privilege of being alive, the foundation of all the rest. These practices aren't about adding more to your already busy mornings. They're about transforming your mornings into something powerful, into the hours where you become who you want to become. The Stoics understood that how we begin determines how we continue. That morning, rituals aren't optional luxuries. They're essential practices for anyone who wants to live with purpose and peace. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while practicing these principles. Seneca wrote some of history's greatest wisdom while maintaining these habits. Epictetus taught generation after generation while living these truths. They weren't superhuman. They were humans who understood something you now understand too. Your morning is the key to your life. If you found this journey enlightening and are curious to dive deeper into Stoic wisdom, I encourage you to check out our playlist right here on the screen. It's packed with insights, stories, and practical strategies to help you embrace the full richness of Stoic philosophy. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content. Please leave your comments and share your own morning routines. Let's embark on this journey of growth, resilience, and intentional living together. Here's to mornings filled with purpose, days lived with intention, and a life worthy of the gift it is. Thank you for being part of the Stoic Mindset community. See you soon.